like
Well, something like it. I don't know if it's exactly the one. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, I remember this. This was like after Siskel and Ebert left, they were doing this. This was like the big thing. I always thought it was kind of neat.
Maybe.
Then a friend of mine said, "Hey, if you like that so much, just go give your money to the commies because that's a PBS. That's a PBS thing. You know who pays for that is you and me." And after that,
Yeah.
like as much as I like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and Sesame Street, memories of all that stuff, I realized like they couldn't make their own money. They had to take ours. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, welcome one and all to A Girl, a Guy, and a Movie. Today's episode, we are focusing on the 1976 classic, The Outlaw, Josie Wales.
Mhm.
Janet, you've seen this before, right?
Yes, but I had forgotten a lot of it. I mean, I was like, there was parts that I don't know. I guess I closed my eyes, or I was told not to look because some of it was pretty
This is kind of a
very
creepy film.
heart wrenching.
The,
Very
the, the
realistic.
beginning the beginning of the movie, you watch Kyle Eastwood and someone named woman get killed.
Hmm.
We're introduced to what's his name, Red Boots,
Red pants.
Red Pants.
Yeah, remember they
Yeah,
were the ones that were there were soldiers. They wore red pants and blue coats, and they were supposed
yeah,
to be the bad guys, or
yeah.
some of the
I
bad
don't.
guys in this movie.
It was a heart wrenching scene, and Clint Eastwood struggles, and he gets kind of battered back down. Apparently, he
This
was
little
very low.
boy was so cute, wasn't he?
Oh, this boy was adorable, but
Oh,
apparently he only had like 1 or 2 hit points because he looked like he was really low level.
yeah,
And
he was.
afterwards, he got beat up by a dagger, which is a D4 hit points.
Hmm.
And the rest of the movie, he spends the movie pretty much in training mode. And holy shit, the guy becomes damn near a lord because everybody and their sister knows who he is by the end of the movie. Uh,
Well,
this
you got to remember back in those times, that's all people had. You had people traveling from one town to another riding horses or on a wagon, right? And
Mhm.
they would go to the town, and everybody except for the women would go to the saloon, and they would all gab while they're playing cards or whatever, and tell, hey, you hear about this? This guy shot 5 soldiers, or 5 bad guys, or he's not a good guy. And then the soldiers would also tell people that this guy came and shot people in the back, because they don't want to look like they're the bad guys. They want to make themselves look like they were taken advantage of, or some scoundrel was going around killing them, executing them, the bad way. So that's how rumors go. I mean, look at the whole story with Jesse James and stuff like that. They became very popular simply because of word of mouth. Didn't have the internet, but it would be on the front page of the paper, and you'd see the signs posted up here and there, wanted, whatever signs. So, and then the whole thing with Wyatt Earp, you know, that was all
the,
word of mouth. So that was all they had. They didn't have movies and, you know, plays and concerts and stuff like that, like they have on, like Cats, in New York City. They didn't have
didn't
that
have
kind of.
didn't have RKO or TKO
That's one thing
broadcasting the
I liked about
news.
it, was that whole thing when they were singing, when she was playing the little accordion, and she's like
Yeah,
la 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 singing, with her grandmother, or her mom, I mean, or was it a grandmother? Yeah, it was a grandmother
she
because it
was a
was.
grandmother. She was a grandma.
So that whole thing was really cool because I can remember um, my mom talking, because we would sit around on the front porch at my grandpa's house when we were making milkshake, and my grandpa would be stomping his foot and he'd start singing, and say stuff, and grandma would do her little dance with her feet on the porch, and they'd sing along to some song. I don't even remember. It was some hymn. I'm sure it was a hymn. But the thing is, I just remember how much we loved going to our grandparents, but because he had horses and he had cows, he had chickens and all kinds of stuff. So it was always fun to go there. So to see that in this show, and that's one thing I didn't see at all. I didn't see a single chicken in this movie, which is very weird because in
Look
the
out.
a
Shannon's
lot of
on the warpath. She's not seen
well,
a single chicken.
well, that's what people would eat. I mean, eggs and chickens were very much a staple for people that lived in places like that. You know what I mean?
They obviously were not Korean because that dog lived to the end of the movie.
But yeah, that was one thing I picked up on, that every time he would spit his juice from his nasty chaw, whatever you call that stuff, he would spit on somebody or an animal or even a scorpion.
That poor dog got more chaw. By the end of the movie, he
Disgusting.
should have been nicotine happy.
It was disgusting.
That poor dog.
I had to do that one time for an initiation because we were wanting to join this group where it was all guys. And the guys told us, it was me and my friend Janelle, and they told us that we had to do these certain rituals. And we're like, why? No one else has to do it. So they picked a couple guys that they wanted to join. They had to do it too. So they wanted to see us do this, I guess. And one of them was dipping. Oh my God. I threw up for hours. And then I was sick I was nauseous for like 4 days after doing it. It was disgusting. And it wasn't the good stuff because they didn't have the stuff like my grandpa had, that pouch with the big shredded stuff. It was all that skull stuff. Oh, God, it was disgusting. I don't know how anyone wants to do that stuff.
I fucked up and I didn't put my filter in the coffee maker the other day. And I poured the grounds in because it was early. It's like 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. I just woke up.
Yeah.
And I brewed my coffee in a fucked up manner.
Ooh, disgusting.
And so the coffee grounds made it from the coffee maker to the coffee carafe and into my thermos. And I was wondering, like, when I'm halfway down on my thermos, what the fuck's that sound? I give my boss some coffee because he's dying. He's like me, like, I'm fucking tired. I said, here, have the rest of my coffee. And I wasn't even thinking about it because I've been up for a bit. I've had a few cigarettes. I'm good. And by the way, I haven't had a cigarette since. I'm so happy. But let me fucking tell you that, like, my boss comes back and he's got fucking grounds going down his chin. And I'm like, bro. He's like, something's wrong with your coffee. I said, yeah, apparently didn't put the filter in. He's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it like, we both had, like, thank God it was high quality coffee, you know, because nothing's worse than shitting out Sanka or the little white flavor crystals. That's what you tell your wife. Like, those are the flavor crystals from that, honey. That's not the strange booger sugar my buddy snorted. Anyway,
that's terrible.
So it's just like we had a really bad Thursday, and then Friday was rough because Friday is supposed to be a day off. It's supposed to be a day of reverence. It's Friday. All hail Friday. Anyway, everything's good. People are taken care of. Bruce is gonna get more money manana. Happy day. This movie's great. And the reason why I was talking about my coffee maker about that, because when I got home that night or that afternoon, I saw my coffee maker chewing wintergreen long cut. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? My coffee maker just spits on the linoleum. I clean it, bitch.
Yeah, you got to really clean it out too after that happens because they clog up your little tubes for the water.
Yeah. Oh, actually, no. This here is just a pour over, so everything funnels down. So I spent like an hour cleaning out my coffee maker around the filter where the filter sits, and had to clean that out, and had to clean out the wintergreen and all that garbage. My coffee maker is now industrial strength, though. I can say that much at least. If there's any ills, my coffee maker can handle it. I will probably be the healthiest person you ever know.
Well, if you got a bunch of grounds in there, if you swallowed them, that would help get rid of worms. Because that's what my mother used to put in the dogs at cat food. She said that it killed worms. So
I just keep the ivermectin paste.
So funny.
I just eat the paste. Just eat that. Fuck it. I'm dewormed now.
But yeah, see, I have a K cup thing.
I
So and a
can't
couple
stand this
times,
taste of plastic.
well, I don't taste plastic. It just tastes like coffee to me. It's good stuff. I mean, it's pretty good. But
I
a couple times I've done it where I accidentally redid the cup, the one that was already in there, and I'd opened it, closed it, and it was the same one, and made the hole bigger. So I got grounds in there, and it would be in between my teeth and stuff. I was like, it's just gross. It's really gross. So I can imagine drinking your grinds would be like not very good. It's gritty. But I don't know what happened. I don't know why we went on this thing, but sorry, I didn't mean to take us off on a.
you're fine. I led us off the path, and I've ruined it. My second lieutenant land nav course I failed. I'm doing well though. I must say that I am very happy with how this movie turned out. This movie is probably my absolute, like, if you want to see Clint Eastwood not play the guy with no name, he has a name everybody knows. By the end of the film, everybody fears him, and even John Vernon is like, I don't know where Josie Wales is, but you guys better take about another 20 people because he'll kill at least five. It's so good. This is such a good film, and it's overall my third favorite, my third favorite Clint Eastwood movie we've seen since we started this long haul.
Mhm.
Of course, number one is Fistful of Dollars. Number two is Magnum Force, and those two kind of do-si do every week. And this would be number three. This is an absolute triumph of filmmaking, and there's so much good that comes out of this movie. It is a just a fun watch. Like, when was the last time you watched a movie and it was so fun with a capital FU? Like, this movie is great. This is one of the
Well, it starts off with him being his family being murdered. So to me, that was really sad.
butchered,
It
and
was
it puts you in the
heartbreaking.
mood. No. It's the same level of manly determination and grit that you realize must follow just after a little beagle dies in John Wick. Like,
I know. It
you're in
was
for a ride.
sad. It was sad to me. I thought it was sad.
I thought this is a great film. I thought this is like one of the better films Clint Eastwood's ever done. And, like, there's a lot of movies he does where they kind of follow the same beats, the same narrative echoes. Like, the High Plains Drifter was kind of like this, but didn't have the panache. There was no identifiable person to give a shit about. There was no secondary characters that you enjoyed watching them sweat, like John Vernon. Fucking, he's sweating his ass off in this movie. It's the first time in his roster of films I've seen where he's like trying not to get killed by the main character. And this movie, he's like, I really hope that you don't feel like pulling out that pistolero and bullseyeing me. That's the very end of the movie. He is so scared and worried about this situation that could pop up. It's so good to watch, and there's a buildup for that. There's actual character development and the interaction between the side characters.
You thought that Sandra Locke did a better job in this one than the last one we watched with her in it?
I only forgive this movie for Sandra Locke's presence because we have the thespian actor John Vernon in this movie. This
Oh,
movie was so good. I
I was
forgot Sandra
impressed
Locke
with
was in
her
it.
in this one too, just like I
She
was
was.
where she was the vigilante in the other one we watched. I thought she did
I,
a good job. I mean,
she was.
compared, I took this woman from this movie, the acting in this movie and the other one that we watched. What was the name of that one again? The
The
one where she was
Enforcer.
a vigilante, enforcer. Okay.
The
If I
Enforcer.
took her acting abilities from both these two movies and I put it next to her in every which way but loose and stuff, it doesn't even seem like the same person. It's not even the
Well,
same actress.
She does a very good I'm a naive 12-year-old girl impression in this film.
She
She
does.
does
She's very good at it.
she's,
She's
she's
got that
very
dope voice, you know
she
that.
does a
Yeah.
doe-eyed look.
Hmm.
Like I'm purity. I'm innocent. Don't look at me with those adult eyes of yours. You know, she has that shit going on throughout the entire film. And
She did good at it, I thought.
yeah,
It's a very
she
believable
does
character. The little
she,
old lady that played her grandma was freaking awesome. I
it's
thought
not
she
the
was a
same
really
lady.
good
It's
actress.
not the same lady as from the Beverly Hillbillies, but you
No,
think
but
it is.
that's who it reminded me of. She was all feisty like that, and how she was feisty with the Indian chief guy, that actor, it was so good. I just loved it. And I loved the fact that there was a dual person basically alongside with Clint Eastwood in this movie they played off of. And Clint was a nice enough guy to give him credit and let him do actually save his life a few times. You know what I mean? He
Mhm.
lowered his machoism down a notch to let another person, and the woman Indian, her name was Moonbeam. Was it a
Yes.
Moonbeam? Uh, she even took out a few people with her rifle. So I liked it. I thought it was a well done movie. It was more believable that you see actual people that are on the run, not because they're criminals, but because of who they are and because of their race, basically. And they're siding up with another man who's out for vengeance, basically, because his family was murdered right in front of him, and they all work together for the same goal to get rid of the same assholes. I just thought that was good. I thought that was a very good premise of the script, and I
I
liked how
thought the
it
script
unfolded.
I thought the script was probably the strongest one he's had.
Hmm.
And this is 76, so this is probably the best script he did, in my opinion, since Magnum Force. That is my absolute top tier Clint Eastwood script that I've seen so far.
Yeah, because what was interesting once I was done, when we were done, I was kind of like looking up the trivia stuff. Even though I was told, I found out today that anybody and their brother can put stuff on there, which I didn't realize. I thought it was all like had to go through certain people to be able to put
Some
stuff on
people
there.
think, some people
So,
think that Clint Eastwood's had 14 families. That part there on when I saw that
okay,
I'm
besides
trivia,
that stupid comment, which I didn't see that one, but
I had
the
to
one
show it
that
to you.
yeah, I know, but I didn't realize it. But this was on there, and I thought this was interesting. There was two different ones, and I looked it up, and it's true because he was hired to be the director. He was the original screenwriter.
Hmm.
Okay, and it says a rift formed between Eastwood and original director screenwriter Philip Kaufman during the filming. Kaufman insisted on filming with a meticulous attention to detail, something that Eastwood disagreed with. Okay, and supposedly was jealous with Eastwood's relationship with co-star Sandra Locke. Okay. Once Kaufman wanted to find a beer can to use for a scene, but while he was absent, Eastwood insisted on filming quickly before the light faded. By the time Kaufman came back, Eastwood was already finished and left. So it got to the point where Eastwood arranged for Kaufman to be sacked and commandeered the director chair for himself. So
Now
that
they
was
have
one.
their own law for that. You know, the SAGs have their own law. The Film Actors Guild, the FAGs, they have their own law where, like, if you have a dueling director or if you've got a dick measuring contest between a director and somebody else, the
Yeah.
Eastwood provision does not allow you to get rid of somebody just because he's in a chair you want.
Well, then
That
this other one I found. It says Wag the director. In a weird way, the trope maker, okay, this was the website. It says early in filming, Clint Eastwood decided that he could do a better job than the original director, Philip Kaufman, was doing. He therefore arranged for Kaufman to be fired and took over the directorial duties for himself. This disgusted the Directors Guild of America enough that they created a new rule known as the Eastwood Rule. Is that what you were talking about, right?
Yes.
stating that whenever a film's director is fired, their replacement has to be someone with no previous connection to the film, and also has to be full DGA member with at least one film or TV credit to their name. This is why nowadays actors are forced to wag the director rather than just outright firing them and directing themselves. More commonly, they just hire someone willing to take orders. So we know an actor that does that quite often, don't we? That makes people take orders. We brought that up a few times in a few movies, and one of them was Waterworld.
Which is great because those two get together later on in Clint's filmography.
Uh-huh.
And you're going to watch one of the best Clint Eastwood movies ever been put to film. I guarantee you're going to shit your bricks because Kevin Costner's in it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. The one with the little boy.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. So I'm excited about seeing it because I think both of them are good actors.
I saw it in 1995. I've not seen it since. I love that movie.
So
I think that movie's one of the.
When is it? It's up a little while, right? We got a little bit of a wait.
You got like another 20 movies, honey. Don't worry. We're gonna get through some movies you
Look what Six Nations just really want. Look what Six Nations just put on there. He's true though. It's not a lie. It's
absolutely. I cannot fucking stand this triangle here.
I know. It's disgusting.
And Sandra Locke, like, holy shit. Phil Kaufman, didn't they make a fucking STD named after him? Clint Eastwood has potentially 14 separate families if you base your life on IMDb trivia. And Sandra Locke, she could never tell her age. If Christianity had been based on her, this would have been disproven. That's all.
The thing is, when she was in this movie, she was 32 years old when this movie came out. I think she was 31 when it was filmed, and he was like 45, 46. Okay, and that's when they first hooked up, and so he must have liked what he got. I mean, he was with her for what, 9, 10 years, right? Or longer than that. Okay, so, but the thing is, I can't gripe about her acting because for the part that she played in this movie, I thought she did a great job. The scene where the Comanches come up behind the wagon, and they're surrounded, took it over, and they got Granny out on the ground, right, laying there on the ground, and then they open the back of the little wagon. And you see Sandra Locke all hunched down in the corner, with her hat down. And she's trying to, make herself as little as possible. And she's looking at him with those big doe eyes. She looked 12. I mean, she looked like a 12-year-old kid. And all the guys, basically, they were having to wipe their mouths because they were drooling at what a feast they were about to have on this young woman.
I felt like that once.
When they pulled her out, though, and they just started ripping off her clothes, and you see her boob exposed, and she screams, and her eyes get real big, and then she grabs herself. My heart dropped. I mean, I was, oh my God, this is horrible. I felt so bad for her, and I was a very believable scene. So if Clint was the one directing it, it must have been very emotional to watch this whole thing, because to me, it was, it was very realistic. And then they threw her down the ground. They were ripping off her skirt and her underwear and everything. And you see her butt, and she's trying to put her hands down there to cover herself up. And these other guys are all grabbing and ripping at her clothes and stuff. And then you see Clint pull his gun up from the cliff with, because he was going to start shooting down there. And that's when that other lead guy, I guess the boss of over the Comanches, Comanchos or whatever they're called, comes around and says, "Don't damage the goods. We can't sell her or get 20 horses for her if she's all, used up or whatever." So that definitely spared her so she wouldn't get raped. But
Janet, you're scripting it out. And then Travis pulls a Gilbert Gottfried. I could use a little more detail. Could you start over again? And just for my own safety, please.
Don't be mean, you guys. it was a really emotional scene. It was very realistic, and she's surrounded by men that probably haven't had a woman in a while. So, it really was sad to see that, but it was very realistic, and I got really emotional over that. That didn't bother you at all to see that?
Um, I'm not going to say it didn't bother me at all, but I kind of question it because I mean it had to be scripted because it's Sandra Locke, and I know they're getting paid to act like this. No real man with a proud penis would ever look at Sandra Locke and be like, "Oh yeah, give me the girl that looks like she's barely 14
You're
years old."
saying so what you're saying is the director and Clint Eastwood, both directors of this movie, are dumbasses.
Okay. Philip, I'm saying Philip Kaufman definitely is a dumbass. Clint Eastwood for sticking around with her for what 9 to 10 years, 12 years,
Yeah,
definitely a
and
dumbass.
paying her over $20 million.
So yes, I'm going to say Clint Eastwood and Philip Kaufman both dumbasses. Not a problem. What was
Well,
what
I
was
hate
the
to say
point of
this,
that?
but I would say 80% of all men are that way then.
I
Because
would God, I
whenever
would
I wear a blonde wig, I get 10 times the amount of attention than when I'm my normal brown hair.
well the thing is that
So
if you were
men
blonde,
want
if
bimbo
you were really,
blondes. That's what
if you
men
were
want.
really a blonde, it wouldn't take that much cajoling. Hey Janet, do you want to go get some food? I have some pie, and there's a fried chicken place on the way home. And yeah, I mean, you can ride on my lap on the way over there. Yeah, I'll let you ride my motorcycle. Sure, not a problem.
But the
And
thing is, men like blondes. Okay, and that's why she's
they're
tiny.
easy. They're
How much do
fucking
you think she
easy.
wore? How much do you
They,
think she
they,
weighed? 90 pounds?
he,
I mean,
I
she's
think she weighed
tiny.
about 80 pounds
Yeah,
total.
she's a little thing. I mean, she was
I,
tiny. You could pick her up and throw her over your shoulder. So that's why men liked her.
I don't see the attraction here, but you're also looking at a guy like I don't go to Overeaters Anonymous to pick up the chicks, but whenever I'm feeling low, I have been known to drive by there at the same time they're letting out, just because it's easy to get a Hummer. Okay,
Man,
um,
a lot of people seem to like that.
I mean,
Uh,
I'm just saying, like in the single men circles, like if you want a girl that'll tear after your pants and make you feel like a movie star, you go for a fatty because she's gonna go for it. She's gonna do her best to lock down that single
what
man
was
into a
that
position.
song? That reminds me of a song that was in not Mad TV, the other one in Living Color. Remember, it says you ain't something about eating a brick if it's made eat a brick if it's made of by Frito Lay or something. There was a song, remember that? And it was about her backing up. She had a big ass or something. You remember that song?
It's been a while, and you'll have to send me the
I
link
can't
because
remember. I'll have to send it to
I
you. But
my
that's what
brain
you
is
reminded me of
failing
when you
me.
said that. If you like big butts, or big girls or something like that, I don't remember. But when you said that, that's what popped in my head. That's what I was thinking.
I mean, Bill Clinton led the charge on making fucking fat girls a thing again in '96. Okay,
She
so I'm
wasn't
a
fat,
product of,
was she?
she was a chonker.
Oh, I didn't think she was.
Now she's not, but back then she sure as shit was.
I mean, she was what, 19 or something?
She was in her 20s and she was in that blue dress making those seams scream for help because she did not look like she was in very good fitness. And Bill Clinton was showing us it's okay to have a fat girl under the desk. I mean, come on, guys. Navy guys, you guys should have been, teaching me on this shit, but I was teaching you guys on this shit. Come on now, put the fat girl under the desk. Nobody will see it. It's great. And if you're ever in the Oval Office and want to give me sexual favors, I can show you the spot where the cameras can't catch you.
Well,
And
one thing I did like about this movie with Clint that was different than the other westerns was the fact that that one girl that he was with, that one movie, she had been talked about how she was raped and all this stuff, and he still wanted to sleep with her. right after she was telling him about it, like it meant nothing. That was bad. But this one, at least he seemed like he had, like I said, his character arc for me in all the movies that we've been watching is getting higher and higher. He's starting to have
Yeah,
more and more
his
credit as an
his
actor.
characters his
Yeah.
characters are getting much better.
Mhm.
His actual acting chops seems to be improving.
Yes, you can definitely
And
see it from the very first movie we watched to this one.
I, I,
He's
I I'm going to say at some point there's a huge dip because there's the Enforcer coming up.
Well, I know, but I'm saying from the Harry Potter movie, not Harry Potter. I keep saying it, Dirty Harry movies. Just in those, you can see his acting abilities getting better for each movie.
Mhm. And I
So
have to say
his
that
directing skills too.
I I don't think you liked it as much as I did, but I really liked the Deadpool, and I thought that was a good return.
It was
At,
it was
I
okay.
mean,
It was not a bad movie.
I liked his character. I
Mhm.
really liked Dirty Harry's character in the Deadpool. I thought that was one of the best Dirty Harrys we got. Uh, that, like I said, that's probably my third favorite behind Magnum Force, then Dirty Harry. Because Dirty Harry just that film has the best bad guy. The
Mhm.
Scorpio guy, that motherfucker, he was evil.
Yeah,
He was literally the guy to be on par with a cop of that level, and
yeah,
he showed it every step of the way. And then Magnum Force, you have Hal Holbrook, which he's not really got much of a chin. If it would have been a fist fight at the end, it would have been a very one-sided fight.
yeah. But he used other means.
But yeah, he had everything else going for him. He had those
Yeah.
four other cops, including the
Mhm.
young and quite svelte Robert Ulrich, who later
Yeah.
played in Vegas, and
Mhm.
other wonderful movies. Known one of them being Ice Pirates, which we were robbed of a good ending. Thank you, Janet.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but there's some really good stuff there, and we talk about Clint Eastwood right now because one, he's 96, and the guy is not going to live forever. But while we have the chance to talk about him, his films have kind of paralleled our lives as Gen Xers as films that are high quality. You go see them, you get a good quality
Well,
product, you get
everybody in the
entertainment.
world, anyone
Everybody,
in civilized civilization knows Clint Eastwood. I mean,
yeah.
he's known by everyone.
But
So
yet,
there's
at the same time, how many of these films had you and I seen in a row? We haven't seen nearly all these films.
mm-mm,
So,
no.
what better way to catch up with one, pop culture, two, follow an actor that's really highly regarded, three, uh, it offers us a chance to see somebody with range because of
Mhm.
his long, varied career. Like, we didn't start out on Rawhide, which we probably should have, but we can
No,
go
it's
back
all
and
right.
watch that
I
later.
think we did good. I think we did good
Yeah,
where we started.
yeah. We started basically with the Dollars trilogy, which that's
Mhm.
a fantastic set of films.
Mhm.
Are they my favorite films? No, but they're really good. The first one is my favorite. The second one's Janet's
You're
favorite.
iconic though.
Yeah, and they're super iconic. But I
Mhm.
think the Outlaw Josie Wales, up until this point, we've got the best script. We've got
Have you ever
literally
seen it before?
never. I've
Oh,
never watched this. This is
good.
my this is my first watching of it. And
Mhm.
as much as Sandra Locke is on screen, the final half of the movie, I really didn't give a shit because she was actually trying to act. It seems like in this movie, she's struggling to make her pay grade. She's trying to get her paycheck honestly. She's
Mhm.
not, she might be fucking both directors or she might not be. But the thing is that she is actually concerned about her performance. In the movie The Enforcer, that movie felt like such a hammed in, phoned in, pile of shit, stepped on movie that
I didn't see it that way.
I rated that movie below G.I. Jane, which
Mhm.
is the worst social fiction I've ever watched.
Yeah.
That movie, like Ridley Scott, I'm gonna make G.I. Jane toilet paper at some point when I make it big. And I'm just gonna have various stills of the movie, various stills, and I can wipe my ass with it because that movie, that's all that movie's worth it. Fuck that movie. The only thing that movie got right was a fucking second lieutenant GI Jane. She gets everybody lost on land nav course. Doesn't get the fucking map or compass. Anyway, I swear to God that's like the worst film. But the Enforcer comes really close, and the Enforcer, like they're at the Santa Monica Pier. There's one thing on the pier. It's the fucking carousel. She gets off the carousel. She should be in plain view. Pa, 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 dead girl. But no, Sandra Locke is alive and well at the end of the movie after she's killed the bad rapist, after she's killed the bad guys. She's done her thing. And Clint Eastwood's like, yep, cut, print, let's go make a movie. I'm going to go fuck my hot 13-year-old. And it's the worst film of the Dirty Harry series and still the worst film of Clint Eastwood's I've seen yet.
I thought the one with the band of supposed veterans, which weren't, to me, it was more like a band of a bunch of hippies.
The Beatniks. The Beatniks.
Yeah, the Beatnik one. That was the worst one. Honestly,
Sudden,
to me, that
Sudden
was
Impact
the worst.
is bad. Sudden Impact is bad.
Really bad. This to me is the worst of the Harry. Harry.
Sudden Impact is horrible, but Sudden Impact at least has the bad guys standing where they were standing at last time. Clint Eastwood's not like teleporting around between shots. The action sequences in the Enforcer are the worst I've seen. The action scenes are not action scenes. There's really bad stereotypes put on film, but they didn't know that they were going to film it this way until they started filming this new shot. And so something's changed here. This guy's jacket's off in this shot here, or he's now conveniently standing in front of breakable glass. He wasn't before. It's the worst of the Dirty Harry films. Sudden Impact, the bad guys are very soft and weak. Should have been a half-hour movie, but we did get the girl for Cagney and Lacey set up, and she.
I thought she was great. I loved her. I thought
she played a good character. That's the shining. Goddamn, Tyne Daly is the shining light of Sudden Impact. And Clint Eastwood plays a fairly good Dirty Harry in that movie. The Dirty Harry we got in the Enforcer is G.I. Jane close, but it's not G.I. Jane adjacent. It's very, very close. But G.I. Jane still is like a 24, and Sudden Impact is still 26. Coco?
Well,
I'm so sorry.
This movie had so much good stuff in it mixed in, with so many movable parts. All the characters that were in it, they all had something they had to do to make the movie run properly. Like the little old lady that's laying out on the ground when that guy comes and stops him from raping Sandra Locke's character, and they say, if you really got to rub one out, use the old lady over there. We might get one donkey for her. Okay, that is exactly what people thought about women. And guess what? I hate to say it, but to see how women are treated in these movies, all these old Western type movies, is basically what you get when you go to another country that doesn't practice Christianity. They do the other religion. That's how they treat women. Women are meat, they're used for whatever purpose the man needs them for. Besides that, they're useless. They're not even allowed to touch their holy Quran because they're unclean, whatever type thing. So if you really want to find out what that's like, just watch one of these old movies and you'll find out if that's how you want to be treated as a woman. Go over there and live. You'll have a great old time, because I don't. But it was very realistic to me. This one to me seemed more believable as the movie was unfolding, about the times and how people were treated. And remember, I found a few things that I thought were wrong factually, when it came along to about in some of the other movies, like with the silver mine, the gold mine, and a few other things. But this one was actually put in the American Film Institute's list in 1998 for 100 of the greatest American movies. And I saw a couple little things saying that it was more historically accurate than a lot of other movies that came out that were westerns, that type of thing. In that era, because of the way that they handled everything, with people going from one state to another to try to eradicate the ones that didn't feel agreed and wasn't going to go along with the way that they wanted things to work in these different states. It was almost like getting to see how the government will go in and just bulldoze over you if they think they got the opportunity to do it. And that's why rebels are so important. You know what I mean? I'm not saying to go out and break the law, but sometimes you have to push back, and make sure that we protect our rights. Because as an owner of property, or your own car, or your job, or whatever it is that you have, if you don't fight for yourself, no one's going to. So basically, that's what I got from this movie with his character. They ran over him and his family, and he felt like he had to do what he did was his only way of survival. And I like the fact that they kept adding those little flashbacks throughout the whole movie, showing you that that's what drove him.
He's still thinking about his boy.
He's still thinking about what the betrayal that happened to him, what was taken from him, that he did, that no one can ever replace. You know what I mean? And I wish more people would think about that kind of thing. About every time we pass a law or we do any of these things in our states or in our federal government, it's something we can't get back again. Because how hard is it to even to agree on one little thing in Congress, right? Let alone change a law that they already passed. It's
for you people in New York State. For those people in New York State, I worry about you. Even if you're not in the city itself, Mandami is going to fuck up, and he's going to think that he's got more reach than what he has. And Kathy Hochul, how you pronounce her miserable name, Pinko Kami.
Yeah.
Between her and little faggot muzzy boy who can't do bench press, between those two people, like, they're gonna fuck up the entire state of New York. And I'm really worried that my home state of Illinois is gonna get more fucked up than what it is, because fat boy over there, Jelly Donut, he's gonna think he can do the same thing in Chicago and institute it for statewide stupidity. And I'm really worried. Like, my friend Travis lives over there, my friends Andrew and everybody else from my old group, my family lives there. I seriously want these communists to be like given gallows, and we can get rid of them all. But you have to get rid of the lawyers, you have to get rid of everybody involved with it, because otherwise you're going to be fighting a legal battle. And the best thing to do is puree him through a wood chipper and be like, oh, that problem's over. And then smack your hands a couple times against each other, and that's about it. But no, we have a government that's drunk on its own power, and nobody is going to have a voice here if this tyranny continues. They wouldn't let people out the fucking Times Square last night. Could you believe that?
Yeah.
I can't.
Well, that's basically what you see all the time right now.
But no, I mean, it was the 4th of fucking July, and the little faggot Muslim didn't want Americans to celebrate the 250th anniversary because he absolutely hates the nation. And I'm just waiting. I know that there's somebody out there, I mean, there's a lot of somebody's out there, and they're waiting for like the hammer to drop, like somebody would say, okay, let's go get him. Because there's no way in hell that whatever he's doing is legal. No way in hell.
Well, the thing is, it doesn't matter what the Constitution says or what laws you're breaking if nobody withholds the law.
Yeah, and he's breaking.
So if I'm breaking laws and no one's stopping me, then there really isn't a law. You see what I mean?
Yeah, and we already have proven, like with the 1952 domestic, the act that Eisenhower had passed, where you can't have another allegiance up and make that your dictum. There's other laws out there which even are more recent, preventing Sharia law be your focal point. But that's the one I always use because it clearly outlines why you cannot have another authority or moral compass in your life other than the American way, which was established. And when Dami just keeps doing this, and then we got, of course, the fucking three-haired lady, Ilhan Omar, the brother fucker, and she's there in Congress still running her mouth. I like wood chippers are just waiting for this. You can have the best fertilizer.
One of the things that I thought was really interesting, the more that I was trying to really absorb what was going on in the background on this movie, was the fact that the person who was telling this story or wrote this story or whatever was trying to make it look like the Union soldiers were the badasses. They were terrible, horrible people that all they wanted to do is murder everyone or anyone who didn't agree with the way that things should be, basically. And which meant the Union that was fighting to free the slaves, and everyone always says they were all black. Well, they weren't. We had slaves from Ireland and other countries that weren't black people. Okay, so we had whites also. These were just people that were not that were sold by their country, by someone in their country, to other people that came to America and used them to build railroads. Remember, those people were Asian. We had people from all over the place. So we had all different races that were slaves. Okay, but the Union under Abraham Lincoln was trying to stop slavery. That was one of the reasons for the Civil War. And the thing about this movie was they were trying to make the Union soldiers look like the bad guys in this movie. And I had a hard time understanding where this was coming from in this movie. That was one of the things I had a problem with the story. And usually I don't gripe about the script. He said the script is shit. But this was a well acted movie, and the story was very entertaining throughout the thing with the character arcs and stuff. It's just I didn't understand the direction of the person that wrote this story. How could the Union be so bad? But what it was, when I started putting it together, was the fact that some of the Union soldiers were making groups of guerrillas, basically guerrilla soldiers, that were going and doing unspeakable acts to different people and trying to blame the Union soldiers for it. See? So it was trying to get the Confederate people to say, oh, you got to get rid of these people, are horrible. All they want to do is rape and pillage and take what's not theirs, that type of thing. And what do we see happening today? We see certain groups of our government sponsoring Antifa and some of these other groups to go out and hurt and pillage and steal and burn. So they haven't changed their tactics after all this time, that was going on during the Civil War. They're still using things because if it works, why stop doing it, right? If you can cheat and get away with it, cheat. If you can treat people bad and get away with breaking laws and be a judge or a lawyer and get away with breaking all these laws or not following the rules, why not keep doing it? I mean, until we stop them, they're going to keep doing it. And that's what I was saying about this story. The story within a story was how they use the Union soldiers, the bad ones or whatever, because there's criminals in everything. You got criminal cops, you got criminal people running churches, you got criminals in schools that hurt kids, you got all different kinds of criminals in every aspect of our life. In government, I mean, they're just everywhere. You got thieves that run grocery stores and they're stealing from the store and blaming it on employees that had a chance to get cash in their cash register. I mean, they're just scumbags everywhere. But unless we start punishing these people and putting them in jail with decent lawyers and decent judges that believe in the letter of the law, it's never going to end. I mean, it's been going on since the beginning of man, basically. And until men and women stand up and fight for themselves, they're not going to win. And basically, to me, that's what Josie Wells was. He was a man that had too much. He was sick and tired of this shit, and I'm going to take back what's mine. Can't get his child back, but he was going to get revenge on the people that did this to his family. And then because he did what he did, look how many friends he made, right?
Oh yeah.
At the very end, that little town of people that he had made friends with, because they actually saw past the lines and the stories and the charade or the charade that the union was putting out about him. The union corrupt people were saying that Josie Wells is the one that's doing this, and Josie Wells the ones that did that, and that other guy that did this, he's no better than Josie Wells. They kept pumping this up so that everyone would be out there, because everywhere he went, people were trying to kill him and take him in for the money. Okay, so it was working. It was paying off. That's how they collected all those criminals that they said were criminals, right? They had bounty hunters out doing it. So it didn't matter whether it was factual or not. All they had to do was put a flyer out, and it was put out by the government. So people were doing it and believing it. Oh yeah, they're just slurping up whatever the government slop was putting out, right? So it's basically the same stuff they're doing today. So I liked it. Once I figured that out, because I was like, why are they wanting to make that part? But they weren't making it the whole thing. They were using portions of people in the government that really didn't want to see this happen. So they were using people that they thought they could pay enough money or lie to enough would just do it for them. And that's what I thought was really good about this story.
I thought this movie's great.
Yeah, it turned out really well. Even though Clint ended up taking over the director's part and changing Hollywood, making them have to change their rules so that it wouldn't happen again, because they were really pissed off that they weren't the ones that made the decision for Clint.
I just find it hilarious that we have the Clint Eastwood rule. Like in role-playing games, there's a Bruce Willis rule. The Bruce Willis rule is the side with the least amount of people goes first. Yeah. There is in directing, there's a Clint Eastwood rule where it's like you cannot take somebody's chair once they've been assigned a role. You must let them have the chair.
Or you have to get someone outside that's not already working on the movie.
Yeah. But
that's willing to step in and kick another director out, because that doesn't make you look very good in Hollywood. Because we've talked about a couple of actors that were also directors in some movies, and just like you said, coming up, we're going to have two of them that are famous for that, directing each other in a movie. It's going to be cool. So I can't wait to see it.
That's one of the best movies that Clint Eastwood.
I've never seen it, so I can't wait to see it. Because you just don't realize it until you start digging behind the scenes. Like that one movie that we watched, and we found out that it was a box office bomb, supposedly, in the Guinness Book of World Records, but it had nothing to do with the movie. It was all done before the movie was even started being made, where the money was ripped off and stolen, and everyone was stabbing each other in the back, for a few dollars. And then you had, what was his name? The famous actor and his wife, Paul Newman, his wife, Joanne Woodward, was being bad-mouthed by this one guy that was involved in this backstabbing that was trying to ruin the movie. And Paul Newman said, fuck that guy. And he got involved. And it was all these people fighting with each other with two different movie houses, right? So the movie was really good, and that just proved to me that if you have a good director and you have actors that want to see the movie be successful, and all the other people that were involved with costumes and all the work that they did with sets, everything, the movie turned out to be really, really good, even though they had a shoestring budget to use. They couldn't even afford stunt people. They had to do their own stunts. But the movie went down in history for the biggest box office flop, because before it even started, it was already in debt. Before it even started filming. Yeah, Cutthroat Island. And it was so good. So you just don't know until you dig around and start getting all the good, juicy details, about what was going on behind the scenes. That's what makes it real exciting, this part of it.
So people would just ask me, what the fuck did Phil Kaufman do? So I went to his writing credits. He does Outlaw. He does The Wanderers, screenplay for that.
Mhm.
Then he hangs out and does the Raiders of the Lost Ark. He takes a year off, hits it out of the park with The Right Stuff, which is another great movie.
Mhm.
I don't know about this film. I've never heard about
He
it.
did a bunch of kick-ass scripts. I can
Yeah.
see why he was so wanted by
His
all
last
these
movie,
actors.
he got paid for that. Got the adaptation for the video.
Hmm.
Henry and June, Indiana Jed,
Never heard of it.
Rising Sun, another Sean Connery film with I believe that's Snipes. I might be
Hmm.
wrong.
Yeah, it's Snipes.
Montana Jones, which I forgot about that. Yeah, it's the Indiana Jones
I never heard of that one either. Is it a cartoon?
cartoon.
I haven't seen it.
Indiana Jones Infernal Machine. He wrote the game. He wrote the game for Emperor's Tomb.
Oh, these are games.
The video games are here. Indiana Jones and Jewel of Forest is a short movie. He did Lego Indiana Jones,
Hmm.
Indiana Jones and the Relic of Gotham, which
Wow.
stay away.
So he did well as a
Yeah,
director, even though Clint kicked him out of his chair. It looks like it boosted him.
yeah, it did. It forced him to actually get his A game on, and this fucker's still alive. He's still doing well. So I don't think he's in a bad spot. He did the character. He got paid for the characters in the movie Indiana Jones and Dial Dysentery, and then he did a short movie, Last of the Templars. I don't know anything about that. Anyway,
Well, I found one juicy tidbit about him. If you want to hear it.
Go ahead.
Okay, it says Peter ended up marrying Christina Pelosi, his daughter. Okay, his wife and him had a son named Peter. Right, they had one child. This director or this screenwriter, and their son married Christine Pelosi, the daughter of Paul and Nancy Pelosi.
Well, that kid's going to be taking care of the rest of his life.
So there you go. I mean, it's rich and stuff, and he's famous or whatever. But I was looking up to try to find out who he was because I never heard of it, especially since he was interested in Sandra Locke. So I was trying to find out, who he ended up with, and he ended up marrying. I can't remember what her name is, but their son. They had one kid, and he married Christine Pelosi. I thought that was an interesting tidbit of information because, ooh, what a family to get involved. He just got in trouble for a hit and run, right?
I have no idea.
Pelosi's husband.
Oh, the Hammer?
Run, yeah. The Hammer guy. He just got arrested for a hit and run.
We will be watching this next year. This is not as good as The Thing, but it's almost as good as The Thing. The reason why I want to watch this is that I just like the scene with Donald Sutherland shrieking out of his mind, pointing at somebody like he's Sophie Cunningham. It's great.
I've only seen parts of it. I haven't seen the whole movie before.
It's actually a really good one. There's two of those that are worth watching. The 78 and the 51 with Steve McQueen is really good. This one, 78, is all right. There was one released in the 80s or 90s. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
But the one from 78 is the one that's my favorite because the practical effects are really about as good as they're going to get. And they do their best.
Yeah, I'm trying to read some of the chat. Get caught up on it.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good movies coming up.
I'm just saying, Diesel Dave is in here. Somebody said Diesel Dave agrees and is looking forward to the movie. So if that's Diesel Dave, hi Diesel Dave. I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, it is him. I used to go to lots of spaces together. Did lots of spaces on X.
Yeah. Coco, me, the great version of Body Snatchers. The 51, everybody says, is probably the best because it was the original, but the 78 gets the tone right.
Can we do both of them? Can we watch one weekend and one the next and like weigh them? Because I haven't seen the original one. I didn't even know there was another one.
Yeah.
The Body Snatchers. I mean, that's something I think would be interesting. We'd never done that before on your show.
Oh,
Watch the same movie.
we
So
we definitely could do that. Did you ever see The Thing from 1951 or no?
mm-mm. But I love the other one. You know how I felt about that one with the
Yeah.
one we watched. I would
Yeah,
like to see it. I've never seen it. I would love to see it. That's another one we could do. Watch that one too. Compare it what we thought about the two different movies. That'd be interesting. Something we've never done before. If you want to do it.
Every time Janet has she has an idea that I would have already. Every time she does that,
You just never said that you wanted to do that
same
before.
I literally.
Oh my God.
I just died of your arms tonight.
Oh my goodness. That would be fun.
How I feel whenever she says shit like that. Are you trying to seduce?
No,
Yeah,
but I love good
we'll do that.
movies.
Cheers,
I love
kids.
movies. Because
Today's beer.
since we started doing this, I've seen more movies than I've ever seen that I've never seen before. So I'm glad I signed up to do this with you because I have seen so many more movies. And you've seen a few movies that you never would have watched, like Lars and the Real Girl. So
Still a debatable movie. Still a very good debate on that film.
you liked it better than you liked G.I. Jane, right?
That's such like G.I. Jane parks in handicap parking. There's no way that movie can come out on top.
I liked it. I still like it. We can argue about that though. That's what's fun about it is that we shouldn't agree about every detail in a movie, you know.
Sometimes she just blows my doors off, kids. I'm sorry. All right.
Well,
So
because somebody said something in the chat that was like, I didn't know there was another one.
yeah,
I really did.
The 51 is really good if you are somebody who thinks that Alfred Hitchcock movies are a bit too violent or they're a bit too gory. The
No, I like
51
Alfred
is your
Hitchcock movies.
the 51 will be rated R for you, but the 78 Body Snatchers is really good. Donald Sutherland, very underrated actor as far as suspense and horror movies is concerned. He's not given his flowers. He really isn't. The guy did a lot of good work throughout his entire time in Hollywood. Even if he does feel that nobody needs to know the name of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, just read it to yourself silently. That is one of the better movies he did, and I know he hates that because of the fact that movie had such a lasting impact. It launched Perry Swanson. It gave creative zeal to Joss Whedon.
I've never seen it.
It birthed the Whedonverse. That movie is not great. Don't.
I never seen. There was a movie, a Buffy movie. The only thing I've seen is a TV show.
Yeah.
So
this
and
movie,
Keeper's dad was a vampire in a Buffy movie. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Was he a vampire?
He's the Van Helsing of the movie.
So we don't get to see him all vamping out like his son because I was like, I got to see this movie. I want to see if his son and him look alike as vampires.
No, he's not a vampire in this film.
Oh, okay.
He's your Van Helsing though. If you want to see him as a Van Helsing, he does good for Van Helsing.
Hmm.
I think the crowning achievement of the Buffy movie man,
Coco said that it said that Leonard Nimoy is in the Snatchers too.
yeah,
He is.
yeah.
I I can't wait till we get to watch this. This sounds really good. Sounds exciting.
Are you serious?
Mhm.
I, oh my
I told
god!
you we saw little bits and pieces, and I think it was just because people shared bits of it with me.
Wow, you're in for a treat, Janet. But next week we're going to be watching the 007 version
I
of
won't.
Clint.
I won't be here. So whoever you want to pick to
Next
watch it.
week, then we are doing a paint stream.
Sorry.
We'll be summoning James and Bo Paints Minis and other people. Will have a paint party and get miniatures painted aplenty. We will probably venture
Well, let me
into.
look real quick. Let me look at my calendar. I might have it by one day messed up. So let me look really fast before I say for sure.
Making me drink. You're making me drink, Janet.
Hold on. I'm so sorry. Just give me a second. Messed up. The 5th.
It's 1956 Body
Yeah, I
Snatchers.
won't be here. Sorry.
Really like
Leonard Nimoy, is he going to play a good guy or a bad guy in this?
You have to watch it.
Oh, I hate to see my good guy end up being bad. That will ruin it for me. I don't want to see him be a bad guy in the movie.
You got to watch the movie, Janet. It's Leonard Nimoy. It doesn't matter if he's a good guy or bad guy. It's Leonard Nimoy.
He's Spock.
It's Leonard Nimoy. It doesn't matter.
I know.
I don't care if he's the bad guy. I don't care if he's the puppeteer. You know, I used to watch In Search of Bigfoot and all the other In Search of stuff just because Leonard Nimoy was a narrator. I think of the 80s and late 70s, that was some of the highest quality paranormal stuff on TV when you had Leonard Nimoy there with his soothing voice logically telling you that we did find these things here. We have had sightings of this here. We have had accounts of this here. But while we were filming, nobody was attacked or nothing was seen. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, well, it's only an incidental Bigfoot. No, okay, no problem. Leonard Nimoy narrating a paranormal show was like the best. And I know that sounds like, oh, you're just a fanboy.
I never saw that.
You've never seen In Search of? Oh, my dear Lord.
I might have. It just doesn't sound familiar. So I'd have to, after we're finished, can you show me like a snippet or something from it so I can see whether or not? I'm terrible. I'm sorry. I don't remember names of stuff.
You just need to come. You've got a spot to sleep here. Just come over. And when I'm not at work pumping grease and septic, I'll clean up and I'll sit next to you on the couch and you can put down your iPad and you can stop doing your TikToks and we can just like watch 10 hours of movies together and I'll pass out next to you and you'll be like so media full by the end of the week.
I'll be covered with greasy popcorn figures.
Oh my God. And I'll have like miniatures that are finished finally because somebody else was here to paint them. That's really the ulterior motive. Like, you don't really want Janet as your significant other. You want Janet as like your alternate set of hands, so you can have somebody else. You can have somebody else work on this. Well, you know, you give your grandkid the address. He can come ride his bike down here, I guess. That's a terrible thought, Bruce. A little boy on 35 pedaling his BMX. Stop. Okay.
Yeah, they'll get run over. You don't want kids in the road.
So, no, Leonard Nimoy had one of the best voices for television back in the day. He knew the assignment. He knew how to take care of what the directors wanted, and he was
even used in some music, right?
Yeah,
some songs.
Well, no. They actually just lifted that from a Star Trek episode.
Oh, so it wasn't like Thriller. When they got Vincent Price to do it. Oh, okay.
You're talking about pure energy. Pure energy.
Yeah. I want that for my soundboard so I can push it. That would be really cool. One day I'll have that.
Yeah. Our friend of the channel, I'm not as big of a friend in his universe as I wish I was, but he's a real good guy. Diversity in Dragons has one of his super chats where he plays the Leonard Nimoy Bitter Dregs song, which is so good. And whenever you understand the context of why is Spock singing Bitter Dregs, it
He
comes
sings?
in Star Trek. Yeah,
I've never seen him sing.
bullshit.
I know that he's been he was a photographer or something, right?
No, you have to be bullshitting me. You've watched all the
No.
Star Treks.
I didn't know that he could sing. I didn't know he was a singer. I've only seen a couple things besides Star Trek with him in it. I remember my mom showed me that he was a guest on the Carol Burnett show, and he was Mr. Invisible. He was the Invisible Man or something, and it was a whole skit. And she's got an invisible baby. She's walking around, and they find a cure, and he ends up drinking. And he comes out, and when she sees what he looks like, she's like, like it was a funny scene. But I've only seen little things like that. That's all I've ever seen with Leonard Nimoy, besides him being on Star Trek and the movies. The Star Trek movies. That's it. So why would I lie about that? If I've seen him in other stuff, I would like to see him in other things, but I didn't know. I know that I remember seeing his son at a con talking about his father being a photographer and showing pictures and stuff. That he took a lot of pictures of women and other things. Yes, I love that little thing that he says pure energy or whatever, and then you have Bones saying something else in there. I would love to have both of those and put them on my soundboard so I could just push it whatever I wanted. That would be so cool. But I don't have that. This is a song. You can't play it. We'll get in trouble.
Leaving bitter dregs.
That's on the show. That's not an album or anything. I saw this. But I thought you meant he had like an album, like what happened with what's his name?
Then you don't remember the Ballad of Bilbo? Do you not remember the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins?
I didn't know it was called that. I didn't know it was called.
They even have a Mercedes-Benz commercial where new Spock and old Spock are racing around the city.
No, I haven't seen that. But that scene from Star Trek, I've seen that. I've seen him do stuff like that. And the one where he's laying back and the girl's feeding him grapes and stuff. I've seen that kind of thing. I thought you meant like, what's his name? The stand-up comedian that put an album out.
Adam Sandler?
No.
I do have the Adam Sandler album somewhere.
I can't remember his name right now. But he did an album with I can't remember the producer that did the album with him. See, I'm terrible with names. I can't remember names. I just go blank. It's like when I try to focus on it, it just goes whoop, it goes someplace else. And then later I'll be doing laundry or something. I'll say, oh, that's the name. So it's like, I guess that's the blonde roots I have. So
Janet's entire Twitter is like a link for YouTube and a time. Here's what I was talking about, but I couldn't get it at the time.
Yeah, I do that a lot. I do that. It's terrible.
Entire Twitter experience.
Eddie Murphy. He had an album, right?
Yeah, he did. And
he could sing really well. So when you said that about him singing and he did this ballad or whatever, I thought you meant that he had an album. I was like, I've never heard of an album by Leonard Nimoy. That's what I meant.
Bitter Dregs. Yeah. One of the greatest super chats you'll ever get from Diversity in Dragons is giving him money, and all of a sudden he pops out there like Bitter Dregs. Like, yes. We're fucking for twins tonight, sweetheart.
That's a good one.
It is. This is a great movie. I think out of all the films, like I said, this is my third favorite Clint Eastwood movie. It just edges Thunderfoot and Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. Mainly for
I
the
don't know.
fact
I
that
like this movie, but I still think Thunderbolt and Lightfoot is a better overall movie
no, because
because
I don't have to watch the
not a
cheery guy
western.
that I love die
I
like I
know, but
did.
it was still really good, and he was nominated for Academy Award for that part, and he did
Yes,
really
yes.
good.
Jeff Bridges does an outstanding job in that movie. But at the end of that movie, you're leaving the movie theater and you're crying because George Kennedy killed him. And you're like, that guy's a meanie.
Yeah, he
And
was a total asshole in that
yeah,
movie.
he was a dick throughout the
Oh,
entire
I just
film.
wanted to punch him in the nose or kick him in the nuts. So he was such a dick throughout the
Yep,
to his
it's
other
rough.
other guy, the other guy that was always trying to be helpful with people, even though he was a criminal.
Moody was a good guy, but he was tangled up in the wrong group from the get-go,
Well,
and you
that
knew
guy
he
was a
wasn't going to
bad
make it.
guy. He was horrible. He was a mean, horrible, terrible person. And when he kept kicking him while he was on the ground and stuff, I was like, what an ass.
Yeah,
And
and
then when he
just
started having that, where his eyes were closing and stuff, I knew that he had brain damage or internal bleeding or something.
he had a TBI going on, seriously.
Yeah, it was really
And
sad.
it was just a sad film. I love Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, don't get me wrong, but this movie edges it out. And the main reason it does that is because you've got a great cast, you have this excellent script, you have John Vernon's performance, you have Sandra Locke acting for once. We're about to watch The Gauntlet in a couple weeks or in a few weeks. So
Yeah.
if you want to see me rant and rave about why the fuck is she still in his life, tune in for that. And then
She must have
just
been
the
great at something.
she was probably really good at something because Clint got around like Gene Simmons, and
I mean,
he was
I think Clint must have been had a prescription of blue pills. I mean, he was
oh
all over the city.
no no
Everywhere he
no
went, he was sitting with someone.
I'm 51. I'm just now getting into that territory where I'm 51 and a half.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, like, if I get the right stimulus, like, not everything looks good to me.
So you're
But
like walking around at work, down boy, all the time.
no, because I don't have to worry
I had
about
to
that. All I have to do is just think about a certain someone dancing around like a flippin' idiot, and I'm like, oh yeah,
Is it that goth
dance for
girl?
me, dance for
The
me,
one you
little
always
big
talk
girl.
about with the big boobies and
No,
she's a goth
somebody
girl.
different, someone's completely different, sweetheart. But the right stimuli, if you treat yourself good, you start dropping weight, you start trying to get your I don't want to say your peptides in order because I'm not a medical professional, but you start
Yeah.
getting the right things out of your body, putting the right things in, you get your balance back, your right amount of protein in your body. Next thing you know, like you're thinking about a certain someone that you really crush on too much, and oh hubba, it's like, god damn, I got a 5-minute delay, I'll be
Well,
right
I
there.
do agree with you. Everyone should want their health to be the number one priority, because if there are people in your life that you love and you care about and you want to be around for, you
Sweating
should
out of my
work on
hands here.
being healthy. You know, you should
I'm
want to
sweating
live as long as
out of my
possible.
hands. I'm so embarrassed about talking about this with her. My God, I'm sweating out of my hands. I'm so sorry, Janet. I'm sorry, Chad.
It's all right.
Yeah, and Eddie Murphy does Party All the Time. My girl wants to party all the time.
Yeah, that
you
was
remember
it. That was the one.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was Rick James. I think it was Rick James that wrote that song and promoted him for that.
Six Nations in the chat. Tell me what your favorite George Kennedy role was, because I have no problem resurrecting Creep Show. Creep Show was my favorite George Kennedy role.
Creep Show. What part did he play in that?
The Indian.
Trying to
October
remember that.
February. That'll be the one scary movie we watch this year.
Okay.
I love Creep Show.
I love scary movies.
I know you do. If I fed you a sick diet of everything you loved, you'd be. I don't need you useless. I need you usable. I need you to not be so predispositioned to love everything I show you, because the critical you being critical on things is actually really fucking educational for our friends that don't have nearly the experience you have in Hollywood.
Well, the thing
Yeah.
is, it's kind of hard to be critical when you get movies like this one, okay? Because when you have good editing, good sets, good locations, good acting, and good people working on your movie, the only thing I could say bad about it was the fact that he booted the director. And to me, I don't really like that. I don't agree with it. So I'm glad that the guild did something about it, because then you're going to have a whole bunch of that one other person from Waterworld just saying, fuck off, get lost. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to have nothing, no good movies are going to be around anymore, because you do have a lot of people that have huge heads that think that whatever they say is the best thing, even when it isn't. And you have pussies working under you that are too afraid to say, you suck. We need to get him back because he's what we need, or whatever, that type of thing. And that, like, remember the one movie Powder? Now it was a great story. Everything would have been great, but you had a director with a head this big that demanded to push everything he wanted down your throat instead of letting the story unfold naturally with the good acting and good sets and everything he had in that. Everything else he had in that movie was phenomenal, except his direction. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So it
I
can
agree.
really,
I hated how that movie, after the first act, it was just a run, 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 run. We got to get to the very end so I can have my moment.
yeah,
And
and it ruins a movie. And it doesn't mean that it had anything to do with any of the actors or any of the other things. It was a one person that had all the say, pushed it into the, the end of the
yeah,
off of the planet,
yeah.
basically,
And
and ruined it.
the other thing is that when we talk about Powder, we have to. I think if anybody talks about Powder, you have to also remind people that the director was misguided on a lot of things, and then later in life he gets arrested for being a pedophile, and
Mhm,
he was a bad man to a young child.
mhm.
So you have to remember this, and we have to talk about this because, like, if you ever want to test out a good, what is the right wood chipper for you, you really need to have a pile of these people available so you can test them individually, see which one will give you the best fertilizer. Because otherwise, you might go home with a stinker. Nobody wants to go home with a stinker.
But see, the good thing is doing what we're doing right now with the whole Clint Eastwood thing. We're showing a young person who is interested in acting, but didn't really know for sure if that was even going to be able to make a living doing it, right?
Yeah,
They get into it, but they don't quit. Okay. They go somewhere else. And even they're in a movie that there's not even English in it, really. Right. So it has to be dubbed and all that stuff. They had to do all the work, but became like classics, movies that people wanted to watch over and over again with their friends, fun. They were fun movies. So that they got to be more and more popular because of that. So as he went on, he decided, I like doing this. I like being an actor. I like working with all these other people that can't even understand me, but because of my direction, I'm helping, push this or push that. I think I might want to be a director, you see? And so they got little chances here and there in some of the other movies to direct the scene, right? And he did good. So it encouraged him to do more, but he didn't quit. He believed in himself, and he believed in what he thought he was capable of doing. And then when he got to play Misty for me, he realized I can do this. I really think that I can do this and do a good job and help other actors be better if I'm their director, that type of thing, without getting a head so big he couldn't walk through the door. Now, he did have a big head, but it was toward the women. That he was going to be parading in and out of his hotel rooms because that's what he did a lot of. And it kept him, I guess that I guess him having all the girlfriends that he had, even though he was married, it kept him able to think and stay level when it came to being a director. Apparently, I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense, but it kind of seems like that is a. It seems to me that having the woman around to keep him on top, in a non-stressed out, able to think about what's going on set each day, it really makes him a better director, apparently. I mean, at least so far, everything that we've seen on his character arc in real life pertaining to all his movies, that's what it seems to me, that he does better when he's not stressed out. I'll just use that in a nice way.
And this movie here, he seemed like he was in his element.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like
Seemed very relaxed and calm and confident, in every aspect of the movie. So I think it makes a big difference.
There are parts of The Enforcer and there are parts of the Sudden Impact movies where I feel we don't get the best Clint. Whatever was going on in his life at the time had upset him, and he has to go and they do a take that he's just not in it. And that was the majority of The Enforcer for me. I didn't see that.
He didn't direct The Enforcer, did he?
I don't think so.
I think that was part of the problem. He seems to get frustrated when a director's trying to tell him what to do and he thinks it's stupid. You know what I mean? And he gets frustrated, and I think you can tell from that. But go ahead now. I'll shut up.
Well, no, I think you nailed it. You kind of stole my words, but you got it.
Well, it seems like when he directs himself, he does really good. It's like he looks through the camera, the lens, and he's looking through what he wants to see in the scene, right? And he directs the other people that are going to do it, and then he steps in and he acts like he's listening to what he told everyone else, and he does the same thing. See what I mean? He's able to listen to himself and not make him see, look at me. You know what I mean? He's able to do that, and it comes across, at least in this time, I definitely could tell that he seemed on point. He followed through with everything, and he didn't scene hog. That's one thing I can't stand when we see that a lot with other directors that are directing themselves. They know better than anyone else, and they try to take all the scenes away from all the other actors. Clint was a good director because he let the actors do their jobs, and it made the movie even better because all the characters coming together and bringing you in and loving the characters. That to me I thought it was great. I think it worked really well because he's good at directing himself also. At least from what I've seen from the movies that we've done.
We're about halfway through. We're halfway through the Clint Eastwood stuff. So, Janet, I want you to start looking around on your IMDb and your favorite movies, your favorite directors, actors lists, and give me a guy we can focus on, or girl, somebody we can hit, and in the year 2027, we can go through their entire IMDb.
I'll give you a few that you can go through and see what you like and what you don't.
Okay.
I think that would be fun.
Sure.
As long as they got a lot of good movies. That's to me the most important part.
That's not the goal. The goal of this. The goal of this is to have good conversation and make a good, fun fucking movie. I know,
but all the movies that I seem to like, only a few of them were your genre of movie. You see what I mean?
I'm not even worried about that.
Oh, okay.
I'm worried about our discussion here. If we're just talking about a movie, like if I were to have you go and see the movie The Furious, like I saw it earlier this last month, you and I would not do a constructive movie review on it because there's only one flaw in that movie, and it's the script. And
I haven't seen it yet.
The script and the performance of the actors trying to deliver their lines in this movie are the worst parts about the film.
Who's in this movie?
Joe Talsim is the only one you're going to recognize, and the Mad Dog. Those two would be the only ones you'd recognize because they're from the two Raid movies. Joe Talsim was in the movie, I think, 8 Mile or 9 Mile. It was Peter Berg, Mark Wahlberg martial arts film with Ewa Kawais, I believe. No, Ewa Kawais was in that, not Talsim. Peter Berg should not direct martial arts films. That's all I'm going to say. Anything else you want to review of Peter Berg's, we can do, especially The Kingdom. The Kingdom is fucking top tier, probably his best. I mean, people had to apologize for that movie because it offended the fucking muzzies. Fuck them. And by the way, over this past week, Saudi Arabia has outlawed churches that are not mosques within their country's borders. So if you are a person
Really?
that's in authority, yeah, if you're in authority
Can
within
you
your
share that
community,
with me in the chat, please? In the private chat?
yeah,
I would
hold on,
love
let me pull
to
this
read
up.
that before I forget, because I definitely want that. I want to look that up.
So I mean, but no, the movie The Furious is about a father who's mute and his daughter communicates with him via sign language, and then she gets kidnapped.
No, I haven't seen what I've been so busy with my baby chicks and my ducks and mowing my yard, doing all that stuff, trying to get caught up when it's not raining. So when I'm not doing this stuff, I'm either working or doing that or laundry or, try to keep up. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff.
So
Yeah, I would definitely, wow, that's huge.
So the thing is that you have that movie's about human trafficking. The father goes hunting for his daughter, and he finds his
Oh, I
wife.
think I know what movie you're talking about. I haven't seen it. Oh my God, I gotta go see it. It's at the movies now already?
It's going to leave Thursday, I think.
Oh, I gotta go see that. I'll have to go Monday night or Monday or Tuesday night.
So, yeah, The Furious is worth it. It's probably the one movie that you're going to see that, despite it being a movie that everyone else, there's certain movies that if they're good, they're just going to be a hit. Like if it's Jason Statham versus telemarketers, it's going to make $1 million. It's going to make millions of dollars. And The Beekeeper was a hit. It was a good movie. It was a really well done movie. It had the right cast, it had the right pacing. But Jason Statham sold that film, and he sold the action, even though the action was poorly choreographed compared to Furious. Beekeeper was pretty okay. You go watch Furious, and you get a new definition of how choreography should be, because the same people involved with The Raid and The Raid Part 2 Barandal, those movies are immediate classics, and there's not been a movie like them since. Although there was one American movie on Netflix that starred the guy from the Thor movies that was I think it was called Abduction. The first one was good. I haven't seen part 2, but I was told it was not nearly as good. Abduction Part 1 is okay, but he's not the right actor, and you can tell they pull a lot of camera tricks to make it look like it's actual martial arts. He's not a martial artist. The Furious has got martial artists that can act for the most part, but they don't act great, and the script is pretty shit. But the movie itself does everything as a watcher, a viewer, you could want. And in the end, you get to see exactly what should happen to anybody involving trafficking children or kidnapping, and that is pretty much put through the wood chipper.
So that movies came out at the same time, right around the same month, or in the same month, basically, as Citizen Vigilante.
Yeah.
It's just that Citizen Vigilante can't be at the movie theaters because they wouldn't give it a rating. So
But
that's why it's not at theaters.
Elon Musk, he didn't give a fuck. He's
Yeah,
like,
I know. I think it's great. Because I think you can get it now on Prime Video
Yeah.
and some other ones. I don't know what other ones, but I got to see it on X. And I thought it was really good for the story. You know what I mean? For what it was trying to tell you.
So
And I recommend everybody, anyone that's watching today, needs to watch Citizen Vigilante. I really do. I recommend you watch.
it's not a great movie though. That's the thing.
No, I'm not saying it's great. I said for what it's telling you to in the movie, the story of it.
Yui Bowl should not be allowed to make movies.
I loved it. I'm glad he made this one. I really am.
I am too, but at the same time, it's just that, like, if you watch it as a movie, like we're supposed to, where like, was this shot well? Is it edited well? Is there this, that, the other well?
Yeah, but
No,
I wasn't
movies-
watching it as a person to review it. I was watching it to get the premise of the movie. Totally different.
That's kind of where I'm having a problem with the film. The movie itself is shit, but the movie is exactly what the world needs to see, because Islam is a fucking miserable cancer of a cult disguised as a religion, which it's actually a political ideology, and it's an all-encompassing belief where you can't have any intellectual or emotional or religious freedom. You just have this miserable dog shit religion, and this gay faggot named Muhammad that had seizures was a proponent of it, and he was illiterate. And then you talk to somebody who's a scholar in Islam, and their entire argument is just completely circular, and you just spin your wheels arguing with them. By the end, you realize you should have taken a napkin dispenser from the cafe and bludgeoned them to death and leave them to die on the fucking ground and let the dogs eat their corpse, because they're worth nothing. They have Islam in their heart, which means they're garbage people. Oh no, I said something bad. Okay. Moving on. If you want to know about Saudi Arabia, they've outlawed everything but Islam. Janet is currently on hiatus. She'll come back when it's
No,
close.
I'm looking that up right now.
Oh. Yeah, Saudi Arabia, they only allow one religion, and that's Islam. They don't even really like the other sects of Islam. I believe they're all Shia. But between, like, if we just let Saudi Arabia and the Middle East get walled off and just let them fight amongst themselves, yeah, I don't care if Israel's in that mix too. If it gets too hectic, Israel will step on everybody. Stop worrying about Israel. Pull your money out of Israel. But stop worrying about Israel. Israel does have one good thing. If you are looking to invest money in something, Zion Gas, Zion Oil and Gas is a cute little O&G company. And if you invest with them like 3 years ago when they had their IPO ready, holy shit, you're going to be so good. Your kids are going to fucking Yale, baby. All right. And I'm not a licensed fucking investor, but I can tell you just by reading charts. I don't understand why people talk about Saudi Arabia or UAE like they're fucking somewhere special. It's Middle East. It's all garbage. And that they've got Islam is just a rabid religion that it's the most colonizer religion of all religions, and I don't know why people don't identify it as garbage. But then again, you have people that they've made it illegal to criticize Islam. Hell, the state of Georgia doesn't want you to criticize the smelly Indians that take shits on sidewalks. Not the country of Georgia over in Russia. I'm talking about the state of Georgia that has Atlanta in it. You think we got a Jeet problem anywhere else in the States? They must have thousands of Jeets over there in Georgia.
So the only thing I want to ask is somebody just posted 85 to 90% Saudi Arabia are Sunni. So don't any Muslim all use the Quran? So is there any difference?
But because Muhammad was such a rampant whore, fucking everything he could, the problem with Islam is the sons of Islam, and each of the kids made their own bastardized version of what their daddy was saying in theory and legend. And so Shias do not do so well versus Sunni. And it just...
So all of these people,
They
and
fight amongst each other.
all these Muslims though are descendants of Ishmael, right?
No, they're even if they're descendants of Ishmael, there's a choice. They can follow a religion that allows freedom of thought, or they can be just fucking stupid robots and be like, don't you make fun of my shitty religion? You better wear your mask. You better wear your hijab. You know, and they stone the women. Like I went to a strip joint once. It was ran by a bunch of Sunnis, and there was a lady in a ninja outfit going around with a tray. And you could select what type of stone you were going to throw at the girl that was bound up on stage. And if you believe that joke, for this next joke, I had sex with an Irish girl. Just joking.
Oh.
I despise everything Islam. Like, there's not a single fucking thing that can't. Tell me about the children's hospitals that Islam has, and tell me about the fucking. Tell me about the money that they use in Palestine. You know, there's not a single fucking redeemable thing about it. If you're trying to argue for Islam and you're failing miserably, then I expect to be deplatformed because I make fun of your stupid fucking sacred cow of a religion, which I can't wait for the wild swine to eat you. Okay. This movie rates for me an 88 out of 100. I absolutely loved watching the Outlaw Josie Wales. James was right in a lot of aspects. If we did not, however, have Magnum Force and A Fistful of Dollars, I think this would be my favorite. But this is easily in my top 5 Clint Eastwood films. We're not done yet with that list. We're only at 1975, 76.
Yeah, I'm going to have a top 10, I think, not top 5. But this one I thought was really good. I don't think it's the best one so far that we've watched. I would have to say I still think last week Thunderbolt and Lightfoot was a higher up on my rating for it than this one. I don't really know exactly. I can't really, the whole thing with the Union, who the bad guys were supposed to be, I had a hard time with that. Because it was too jumbly. It was too jumbled up in the script or the story to specifically pick a certain group. And to me, after the story that we were told or listened to after we watched the movie, I can see why they focused on the Union now, because the Union goes against everything that they were for, basically. The other side was his side. You see what I mean? So that makes sense now that I knew that, but I would still be going, what the hell? You know, what does this mean? I was really struggling trying to understand why they were putting so much emphasis on that instead of it just being, bad guys, outlaws. Now I can see why he would have bounty hunters hunting him simply because of him getting revenge for what happened to him. But it could have been one group of bad people that wore uniforms. Because remember, a couple of movies that we've seen the bad guys take the costume or the military uniform off of someone else and put it on and pretend to be that character. Then it would have been a little more believable for me. The way that they portrayed it in this one. If they'd done that and they had a group of guys that found a bunch of dead soldiers in the back of a stagecoach and they just took their uniforms and took their clothes and paraded around like they were soldiers to get free meals and places to stay or whatever, their reasoning behind it, then all of the other stuff in this movie would have made a lot more sense to me. But because they didn't do that and they strictly tried to blame the Union soldiers, basically all of them, that were in the wrong, then that's why I had a hard time with the script for that part of it. But I love the acting. Even Sandra Locke did a very good job. I mean, I was near tears in the scene where I thought when they were ripping off her clothes and they were gonna rape her. Her reaction to it was very believable to me. For someone,
you could just get back and talk about that scene.
And and the fact that she looked over and she saw her grandma laying on the ground, knowing that what he just said, that if you want to get one, rub one out, use her grandma, because she's only worth maybe a donkey. See what I mean? So it saved her ass, but she crawled over there to be with her grandma, knowing that she's going to be the one that everybody's going to play with later on when they have a few drinks. You see what I mean? It was disgusting, the whole thing. I have a hard time with all these movies when it's based in that era, simply because the fact was that you could steal a horse and you'd be hung for it, but if you took a woman out and raped her and beat her up and shit, nothing. Basically. And people said, well, there were laws against it. Yeah, there were laws, but somebody's got to uphold the law. If there's no one around and you go and you crawl back to town or whatever, if you're still alive and you tell somebody, they'd say, well, we'll see what we can do. We'll try to find these people. That's about it. So basically you're just a piece of meat. You know what I mean? So, or if you lost your property and your husband got killed, you'd have to become a prostitute to feed yourself, because it wasn't, or a beggar in the street, basically. It was terrible. And I just have a hard time when I see that kind of stuff happening. Do what?
People that have seen this movie before, I want to know what your rating is. Travis says something. Janet, read the next thing here.
Let's see.
There we go.
This is one of the greatest movies of all time. Yeah, it was really good. It was very well done and everything, except that's the one problem I had with the movie, is that I kept trying to figure out why they were all focusing on trying to make the Union so bad, when they're just trying to free the slaves and to get these people that were running their plantations and not paying anyone and making all the money and living high on the hog. And basically everyone that complains right now about the government taking so much of your check and spending it on other countries like Ukraine and all this stuff, you better not gripe about it, because basically that's exactly what they were trying to stop then during this time, where people were used like slaves, slave labor to do this, that, and the other, and then they weren't given any of the money. So it's the same thing that we're doing right now. And I'm against all of it. I don't care who it is that they're holding down or not giving money to, whether it's our veterans or it's, other workers that are having to give lots of their paycheck and you're barely scraping by because the government is taking your money and spending it in other countries instead of on its own people. I think it's disgusting. So, that's why I have a hard time with this script on this.
There's
and it has nothing to do with the actors, though. The actors were good. They were excellent. I thought the acting was just, this was really one of my favorite movies when it comes to Clint's acting. He portrayed this character well. He wasn't stealing scenes. He worked well with everyone else. He had a believable character. I loved the flashbacks to his family over and over again of him struggling through the whole thing and what he was trying to do, but he was still upset about his family being murdered, and and to get even with the people that did that. But even if he got even and got rid of all of them, he still didn't get his family back. So he's still at loss. And hopefully he get to a point in his life where he can move on and maybe have a new family. And that's what I was hoping at the end, because he had given of himself helping other people, that he was able to win over the people in this small town, and that they even signed affidavits saying that they thought he was dead. So they were trying to help him get on with his life and be able to start over. And I love that part of it. I love that whole arc for the characters in this movie, not just his, all the characters.
I think part of this movie's allure for me is Chief Dan George's portrayal of Lone White. He's so good in this movie, but he's not really. If you look at the trivia, they say he wasn't really able to remember his lines. He was kind of fading in and out a little bit. And so Clint just had him. I don't know why. I think he might have had like some mental issues at the time. But Clint would just tell him, like, tell us about your people or tell us about a story. And then they would just roll tape. And there's a lot of times where he's just ad-libbing throughout the movie. Mm-hmm. And whatever he's got on his mind, like they recorded it and made it canonical for this version of the Outlaw Josie Wales, which I think is fantastic. And it's a neat way to film when you have like an actor that has a disability, and you just have this old man, this old Indian chief, just rattling off lore and all the other things that went on before your kind, before the white man trespassed here and made his way here. This movie has some real solutions for how quality movies can be made again today. This is not a film for the squeamish, I would think.
No,
Not
it had a lot of adult stuff in it, even though it didn't really show a lot, but it had innuendos, and it had events leading up to something that's going to happen, and you would definitely have to explain to them. They'd say, well, what happened? What did that mean? You're going to have that kind of stuff. But
yeah.
the scene, like you were talking about with the Indian, I just loved him. The scene where Clint Eastwood like lifts up out of his bedroll and he's listening, and you hear these sounds like muffling, like maybe somebody's got somebody's hand over their mouth, or something. And so he gets up and he's walking really quiet, trying to see where the noise is coming from. And he walks over and he sees the old Indian chief laying on his back and the young Indian girl on top of him. And then he goes, do you need something or whatever? And he said, no. And he says, I'm not as old as I thought I was. It was such a good scene. There was so many good scenes like that. And then the other scene, like I said, I made a comment during us watching it, or when we just finished, and I said it seemed like every time he spit on an animal or an insect or something or a person. He never just spit on the ground. That was funny. And the fact that, like, with that one scene where he shot that one guy, and then he said the buzzard's got to eat some, just and the worms, just as the worms do, or something like that. That was a good scene, a good line for the movie. So there's lots of really good little takeaway lines when he's talking to that young man before he died. Now that was really sad. I was really upset when he came back in the tent, and you could say, okay, we got to get going, and then he sees that he's dead. So there was some really good moving scenes in this for Clint to have reaction to. And the moving, that part, I don't know why, but that kind of stuff, it makes me like characters more when they seem more human. You know what I mean? They have good human qualities that you'd expect from someone who just lost his wife and his son, and why he's bitter and why he became a pistolaire, or whatever you want to call him, to be able to hunt these people down and take them out.
Yeah.
So.
See, this movie hits on one other thing that I'm always confronted with. I grew up in Illinois, sadly, and I grew up in like the spot where you have the 16th president. He became a very active lawyer. In fact, I've held the parchments and papers that he had written on, because they were in the Logan County courthouse, or they were in the courthouse in Mount Pulaski, which is not the county seat, but a very important village in the county. And that's where Abraham Lincoln was for a good chunk of time. And you always have people talking about how reverent about him, and he was a great man, this, good man, that. And then whenever you get out of Illinois and you talk to people about various things, and the Civil War comes up, everybody in Texas has basically said, everybody that's Texan here in Texas, I should say, even the lady folk, you know what they said, Janet?
Mm-mm. What?
You mean the War of Northern Aggression? I get that from Texans so frequently. It's great, but it's kind of iconic, because down here, this is we're not too far from where I'm at. One of the last battles of the Civil War, which ironically happened 2 weeks, ironically, I should say, it happened 2 weeks after the Gettysburg, after they signed it over at Gettysburg. They're like, okay, fine, we give up. But 2 weeks later, there's a fight in Texas, and fucking Confederates win the shit out of it. And then they get the note like, oh, we're done? we're done.
Mhm.
Fuck. It's kind of funny.
But I did like the last scene where the guy that's been hunting him basically since he went on a rampage
Mhm.
got to say, I want to go to Mexico and tell him that the war is over.
Yeah.
I'd like that because he knew who he was. As soon as you saw his eyes light up,
Yeah.
over the newspaper, I was like, "Oh no!" That's what I was thinking. But then when he didn't do anything, and he basically dropped everything and realized because they signed affidavit, so that right there is all they needed to take back to the government that he's gone, right? And I really liked that. That was good closure for both their character arcs that to know that one's going off knowing that this guy deserves to have a life now after what happened to his family, and the other one knowing that this guy really wasn't the bad guy that he thought he was because he
No.
wasn't the one that sent the people after. So basically they both got closure and understanding of their relationship. You know what I mean? So I like that. And they did it in a manly way so people couldn't say, well, what a pussy, or, you didn't hear any of those comments. I thought they did a good job at it, at that part, that closing of that whole story between the two of these men. But one thing I wanted to add for you, because I know you didn't like her, the actress, but I think I know we've talked a few times about why their relationship went sour. Well, I think it's because she got older. Remember, she constantly worried about not looking young enough because she was a brunette. Okay, so she had to dye her hair to make her stay blonde, and I'm sure she did a whole bunch of other things, stayed skinny and starved herself or whatever. So she stayed little, like very young. But everyone gets old. You can't do anything about it. Sooner or later, you're going to get all kinds of wrinkles and baggy skin, and you're just not going to look the same because that is what happens to all of us. Now, it says here, what I found out, it says her relationship with Clint Eastwood was a romantic partnership, basically, because they never married, that lasted from 1975 to 1989. During which they collaborated on 6 movies. Okay. So after the 6th movie, I don't know how old she was. I'd have to look it up. But the fact that when they first met, she was 31. Okay. And they were together all that time.
She said she was 20.
Yeah. She said she was a lot younger than she was because she could pull it off. She looked a lot younger. You know what I mean? Because me, like I said, when I saw her head pop up out of that thing, she looked 12. I mean, she looked like a little girl. Very
like a little girl, Janet. Don't I look like a little girl? Don't I look like a little girl? I'm
definitely
a little
did.
girl. My name is Sandra Locke, and I'm a little girl.
Well, the thing is she looked young in the other movie too when she was in the Dirty Harry movie, and I thought she did a good job in that. She wasn't the best actress, but to me, she was just as good of actress as Meg Ryan, or what's the other one? The girl from Working Girl, Melanie Griffith.
Oh, you hit my sweet spot.
Okay.
I can't believe
Well,
this is an
she was
actress.
just as good as any of them, and they were at least they were real attractive. She wasn't even. I didn't even think she was like sex appeal attractive. She looked like I said, she reminded me of that singer. I forgot her name already. The one who just got married to the football player.
We're talking about Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Taylor Swift. She looks like she's a 12-year-old, 14-year-old boy. I mean, if you saw her just walking around with a ball cap on, you wouldn't know she was a girl. I mean, she's so skinny and everything. And that's what Sandra Locke looked like to me. So she wasn't like this bombshell, like Mae West or Marilyn Monroe. She didn't have, that kind of presence. So I don't know why all these men were like panting over her. It seemed like everybody was arguing, wanting to be her man or something. It was, I just didn't get it. But, I grew up I'm a brunette. I grew up between 2 blondes. So I got treated like that all the time. I mean, the guys would always leave and want to meet my sister. They were more interested in that. So, yeah, oh, well, that's the way it is because I'm a brunette and I'm not going to dye my hair. I wear a wig because it's easy to put a blonde wig on than trying to take care of dyeing your hair every month and having your hair fall out because you have to bleach blonde it all the time. But I think that's one of the reasons why their relationship broke up. She couldn't compete with him anymore because as a man matures in Hollywood, and he's also a director, he can keep getting work because there's always going to be a part for a man that even with younger women, this just goes on and on. But as a woman gets older, the parts end up becoming grandma. You see what I mean? And I couldn't see Sandra Locke ever being a grandma in any movie ever because her ego would not let her do that. I mean, what did she do after she did quit her career with Clint? What movies were she make after that? I haven't looked that up, but I'd be interested because once I read that, I was like, that makes sense. Because I remember a couple times where she did those interviews and she said that, she did fib a little bit, about her age because she just didn't want to be not a leading lady. She didn't want to ever be grandma or, the spinster or whatever in a movie. So I'd like to see what other things she did after her relationship was over.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
Sorry about that. Who was that?
That's no count. Thank you. I don't know.
He looks familiar. He looks familiar, but I told you I'm terrible with names. Unless I see somebody on a regular basis, I have a hard time remembering their names. I'm just terrible with names. I can remember faces. I'm admitting, hey, aren't you happy to have a woman that actually admits that she's not perfect and she's wrong sometimes? I mean, geez. Just don't remember names very well.
I guess
It's really hard.
I'm just surprised. It's almost put into okay. He
Kevin
and
Dracula?
Sargon of Akkad ran for parliament. Count Dankula
Never heard of
and
him.
Sargon of Akkad, two podcasters in the UK, ran for parliament about 10 years ago, and they both lost, but they fucking tried at least.
Count Dankula. That sounds nasty.
Yes.
Is that
Dank
what they
memes,
talked
baby.
about?
Dank memes. That's what
I
matters.
know, but that's what I'm saying.
Whoa.
And that's what he talked about on his podcast. Dankula
He talks
stuff.
about everything on his podcast.
Oh.
He talks about everything on his podcasts. And when I say everything, Janet, I mean
I'll have to go and see one then. And is he still doing it?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. Is he
The
better?
podcast for him is a golden.
Is he better than your recruiter guy? Angry cop guy?
No.
Okay.
Very rarely do you find somebody better at being a vocal dissenter than angry cops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's funny.
But we're possibly going to see him kind of slow down a little bit because he just had a baby boy.
Yeah, I know. It's so sweet. And I hope he never brings him on TV and shows him or anything. Talking about changing diapers and doing all that stuff is great. I mean, because he should want other men to want to be dads, and want to change diapers and be active as a parent. I think that's great for men because I think all men should be proud that they're a dad. My dad he had 5 girls. I wish he had had a son, but I did the best I could as a tomboy, to be fun, have fun with my dad and go fishing and camping and squirrel hunting, all those things that I love doing with my dad. But not everybody can do that.
Here's Janet did good because she gave him a grandson.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep that in mind.
Yeah. But that wasn't me. You got to remember, the woman doesn't pick the sex. The man does. He puts the stem on the apple, not the woman. And guess what, though? If a woman has a bald dad, okay, that means her son is probably going to be bald. So remember that, guys. If you want a son that has a full head of hair, don't marry a girl whose dad's bald because it is on the women's side of the family. No, the sex isn't. The sex has nothing to do with the woman. The man chooses the sex of the baby. So, just wanted to make sure you understand that.
Okay. So, what is your rating for this film?
Well, there was only a couple things that I found problems with it. So I thought the storyline and the characters were really spot on. I thought they were really good, and you felt for the characters. You wanted to root them on. You wanted them to win. And when he met each character, they were important. You know, they added them in the story and made them part of the hero's journey. And I love that. And they were heroes themselves, the way they handled everything. So I would give this a solid 9 out of 10. It's 2 steps down from the other one I gave last week, but 2 little dots. But I still thought it was really good. I do recommend that you watch it if you haven't seen it. Or if you have seen it, watch it again. Watch it with someone who hasn't seen it before. It's definitely one of those movies that you're rooting for the guy to be able to get back at the people that killed his family, So I like that part of it. And it does have a lot of. You like that, right? The action part is what I'm saying.
It's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking spot on. Yeah.
Oh, it could skip a generation. I just know it's
good.
inside. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much everything was good. I thought the editing was even good. I couldn't find anything wrong with editing because there was nothing in the movie that I think editing would have made better. So you can't blame the editing for any of it. Even the music, the soundtrack didn't take you out. There was nothing that pulled you away from the movie. You know what I mean? So that was all good.
The music was fitting for the film. A lot of times, some of these movies are not the best in their music. Not everybody is John Williams. But this movie had a very good score. The cinematography in this film was really good. I didn't feel like I was staring at Albany. At the same time, I didn't feel like, we were looking at Lauterbrunnen. What is that? Lauterbrunnen or this fucking. There's a little countryside village in Switzerland that my algorithm will not shut up about. It's in a U-shaped valley. Welcome to Lauterbrunnen, and it's beautiful. But you go there and you realize you're going to eat Swiss chocolate and have some Swiss wine and coffee, and then in about 2 hours it's going to get bone-chillingly cold. And welcome to winter. Fuck you. No, not into that. Not into that. I like the idea of keeping my extremities to where I can bend them. I like my toes and fingers being flexible. And whenever I get cold, it's like, well, that's over. So anyway, we're just slopping some wash on here. Next week, the Iger sanction will be the film that me and Janet throw a critical eye to. Oh,
No,
nope,
remember, I won't be here
2
next
weeks from
week.
now.
But
2
you
weeks
can
from
do
now.
a movie if you want. I mean, I won't get mad at you for doing it.
Janet, there's not a movie out right now that I want to see without you.
Well,
So,
I've been saying like you could get 6 Nations and you guys could watch that Cocaine Bear movie or something.
No,
Because you guys
do it.
did the hundreds of beavers. You did that one.
That was a
So
great
there
movie.
isn't
but
another one like that you want to
not
watch?
right now. Not right
Oh,
now.
All right.
I'd rather
Well, I
drag
just
you to see.
I just feel bad.
I just want to take you to go see Hundreds of Beavers because you would find it hilarious.
Maybe I would. I don't know. It just looked really, really bad when I saw the trailer.
Done. It is performed so well. It's shot for what it is. The way they edit and shoot it, the way they did everything in that movie. That movie's a 90 out of 100. because it's one of the few
Maybe.
comedies. It's mainly for the fact that comedy was sparse in the early 20s. Early
Mhm.
2020s, it was really sparse. 20, like that was the only comedy that came out. And then they tried to have other comedies come out. They end up just being like a bunch of liberals. I hate Trump, and that's the entire comedy movie. Like
Yeah.
you're not funny. Quit. Stop. Go make a podcast and make no money. Fuck you. But no, the Hundreds of Beavers was perfect because it actually was comedic. It had good sight gags. It had wonderful
You
plotting.
said there was only one beaver?
Nope, there's six. There were
You
six
said
beavers.
there was only
100.
one beaver and hundreds of beavers, is what Six Nation just put in the
Six
chat.
Nations is erroneous. There's 6 players that dressed up as beavers for the camera. There's
Oh.
6 people they dressed up. They got the same number of people to dress up as beavers in Hundreds of Beavers as they had gymnasts dress up as aliens for the movie Aliens.
Well, can I
They had
ask a question about the movie though? Since I never
Please.
really asked you stuff.
You should.
Why did they call it Hundreds of Beavers?
Because of the miracle of CGI, they make it look like there's hundreds of beavers
Oh.
invading.
So there were hundreds of beavers in the movie. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay. All
There's
right.
6
That
actors
kinda
that play beavers, but there's only one.
Beaver,
or
wink,
2
wink.
scenes. Yeah.
Jesus. Like the movie Naked Gun when he's like, nice beaver, and she's like, thank you, and she hands him that stuffed beaver because she's up on the
hands him
ladder.
his. I just had it stuffed last Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's so funny.
Beaver.
The whole thing. That's what I was thinking it was about. That's one reason why I was like, I don't think I want to watch this.
No, you
After
want to
being
watch it because it's,
surprised- after the surprise that I received when you got me to watch the Black Sheep movie, and the brother walks in and catches his brother with no pants on, smoking a cigarette, and I'm like, what the hell? And he goes, what the hell's going on? And he goes,
it's really
nothing.
not.
And then the sheep comes running in. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. That was so
It's
horrible.
not what you think. It's not what you think, really.
It was. It really was. And it was disgusting.
It
But
became a Muslim movie.
I had a
Muslim
young
sexy
child
movie.
in here with me when that scene came on. If I'd known that was in there, I would have said, no, you cannot come in here and watch any of this stuff. This is not appropriate. And that was not a good thing. It was not good at all. So
One of my favorite movies of all time, and you got to run it through because there's a Muslim scene in it. He's
it was
just horny
terrible.
for the sheep.
I mean, no,
Well-
I would have reacted totally different and just probably would have laughed my ass off. But I had a very young person in here, and they're like looking at the whole thing, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna crawl through a hole in the wall. I was so embarrassed. It was horrible.
My job is finished
I will
here.
never do that again. I will never let a child in here while I'm watching anything that we review ever again. That will not happen.
Yeah, that's good because later in December,
I
we're
learned
gonna-
my lesson. That was
later
bad.
in December, we're going to watch the movie Wizards. And as much as you want to bring your
Never
little
seen
young
it.
friend to go see Wizards, I'm going to caution you: don't do that.
Mm-mm.
Do not bring
won't.
your young family to see the movie Wizards. It is not an age-appropriate film for children. God damn it, they
Yeah.
killed Fritz.
No. And I do that a lot. Even the old movies that we've been watching, I say I don't recommend anyone watch this movie that's under 13, most of the time. And if depending on the 13-year-old, you might have to explain a lot of things. So that happens quite a bit in the movies that we've been seeing, especially because I've never seen some of these. That's why I'm saying I don't know what is around the corner. And don't have people over. If you do not know what's about to happen, don't let young people in to watch any of these movies with you.
Janet, what am I going to do with you?
I don't know. Just don't kick me to the curb.
Well, Janet, I'll proudly say it in front of everybody. You're mine forever, and don't worry, that's not going to happen.
Okay.
Well, once again, we've hit another end of our wonderful Sunday afternoon video review. Janet, would you like to escort us to the stage exit?
Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us for, I don't know how long we've been doing it, 2 hours? Wow, 2 hours. Okay. Well, for hanging out with us and listening to us go on and on about our feelings about this movie and a few others, because we always do rants. I can't help it. I'm not a pro. I'm not a pro. I don't, I wasn't, didn't go to college to learn how to do this stuff. We just do it because we enjoy it. But it was a really, really well done movie. And if you love Westerns, this is one of his best Westerns. I really do agree with that. And I just want to say thank you. And hopefully next week you'll come back. Oh, not next week, the week after next. But next week, come back and watch Bruce as him and whoever he has on here do their favorite thing, which is painting figures.
Yep.
So
Why do we do that? Because it prevents murder, mass murder.
probably a few murders. Oh, and look, he wants to show off something he just put on his desk. It's over there. You showed me the other day. Remember?
Which one?
Right there with the globs in it.
Oh, yeah. We just got a replacement. The lava lamp 3.0 is in place, and it seems to be churning along nicely. These things only have a limited shelf life, so who knows how long it'll stay. But I love a good lava lamp. I've loved them since 1977.
I've never had one.
They're great.
I've never had one.
They're a wonderful little toy to have or lighting device. They don't provide real light, but they do provide just a little bit of soothing dopamine to my head. Thank you, Janet, for illustrating that.
Well, I do because I thought you were so happy when you got it and you got to put it on your desk.
I love it. I love this stupid thing.
I wanted to make sure other people knew that was something new on your desk because there's a lot of stuff going on your desk.
That there is.
That's one reason why I don't have a camera on my stuff because I got a lot of shit too, but I just don't, show it to people. Stuff like this cool dice tower that someone made me, and then I've got all kinds of like trinkets and things that I play with. I just got tons of shit. It's on my desk too, so don't feel bad, Bruce. But I don't paint or anything on my desk.
You sure?
That's over behind me. I do my Legos and my crafting and stuff on the table behind this curtain right here. But thank you, everyone. We really appreciate you. Oops, see it lit up.
Come see us next week. We will be painting, and then 2 weeks from now, we are watching the Iger Sanction film. Mm-hmm. And everybody wish Janet a safe trip as she goes and does something very enjoyable.
Hopefully, turns out good.
Thank you, one and all.